Okay, so my name is Kateryna Odarchenko, and today this hour from 1 p.m. Till 2 p.m. we will work together on our important lecture. It's lecture about political management and reputation management. So how we work with reputation for political candidates, for political parties, for nominees to some offices, for people who now work in government office. And of course, like, even yesterday, I think talk about like only political candidates and also cases which we was lead as a company in Europe and here in the United States. But today I decided also to add some examples from corporate sectors, because some people who will listen our lectures also wants to compare this experience from corporate sector. And a little bit about me. So my name is Kateryna Odarchenko, and I'm a leader of SIC Group company. So here some information about me. So my basic profession is political management and government relations, but also at free time I do, together with SIC Group team, a lot of lectures, public lectures, also private lectures for some political parties, and I also speak on TV. We wrote articles together with like Washington Post, ABC News, Yahoo News, about elections, about other communication tasks like how to fight disinformation. And we also do a lot of analytical work. So we wrote for major think tanks here in the United States, like Atlantic Council, Wilson Center. But basically, like 90% of time, we practice in classical consulting work. So we work with three sectors. Our office work with three sectors. So it's elections, organizing of elections in different countries, and or like projects with political consulting when it's not like full election cycle, but I don't know, like work with political image of somebody, or create political strategy, or analyzing like the polling from some country, or maybe anti-crisis work for some politicians. Also, we develop like new political parties in 4 countries for now. So, like this world is challenging now, so it's a lot of elections worldwide. Second part of our work and SIC work, it's our work with government relations issues. So government relations and lobbying we do in some countries with our local offices, like in Belgium and Brussels, so in Strasbourg is the European Parliament, and also in Kazakhstan and Ukraine, in Bulgaria, and of course here in Washington, D.C., where I'm basically work, and we represent not only companies who are local, but also we represent foreign clients with compliance of FARA foreign with registration as is in FARA. And third type of our work, it's PR and media work. So today in our conversation, we will work together on our practice in political management, and in second, our practice with media. And if you have any questions after this lecture, I think that half of this hour we will work as a like classical lecture. And after that, you can ask questions, and you can ask question by raising hand here. Or you can also write these questions to the chat, so I can react to them directly when I will like speaking, or point to some like interesting point in my presentation, or I will answer this question in the end of our conversation. So if it's okay, if it's okay, let's get started. And I'm sorry, I'm today like on big conference in Atlantic Council, and I forgot my headphones at office, but I hope that it's still good sound for you. So my first question generally, what is political reputation management for you? So, and what you generally understand as a reputation? So what is reputation, right? Do you own your reputation, or somebody else own your reputation, or media own your reputation? So what is reputation and what is political reputation management from your point of view? So feel free to answer in the chat or better by voice. So it's no like not right answer. So because if we talk about like reputation, I must understand what you understand as a reputation, right? So generally my experience, from my experience, people think about reputation that it's something which you can create, and it's something which you can like lose in a minute. So any thoughts like from audience, what is reputation?
Okay, so let me come from the point of so political reputation management is actually managing the reputation of a political, maybe I could say political party or political group in such a way that the reputation of such group is appealing to the electorate in such a manner that you can easily convince the electorate to support you or to vote for you at the due time. That's just a summary of what I understand regarding political reputation management. And then remember that reputation is something that you build, and of course needs to be managed in a manner that at the end of the day you get positive outcome over and above what you have built over the years.
Yes, and what is your name? Ifeoma, right? It's your first name or last name?
Yeah, it's my first name from.
Very good to meet you. Yeah, very good to meet you. Yeah, so very good point, Ifeoma, about like direct reputation in political management reputations, that people must vote for you, right? So, and it's a little different from corporate sector. Yeah, it's very good point, and we will talk about that. So any other thoughts? Let's take one more point on what is reputation and political reputation. Okay, so also if we talk about reputation, it's obviously a lot of people said that it's what media wrote about me, right? As some our participants point. So let's move about a little bit further, and let's generally like understand on what we build this like bricks of reputation. So first of all, it's always values. In political management, in political reputation, in corporate reputation, it's values. And it's very important to remember that all communication strategy based on values. For example, one candidate stand for freedom, and other candidates stand for stability. So both we appeal to the values, and if we look into European political context, even almost all political parties in Europe after Second World War, they will build their ideology and their political strategy based on values. So, maybe American audience not so familiar with that, but it also depends like on do you more left or more right, and on your like policy and economy. But generally, when you talk to German voter and you ask why you vote for Christian Democrats or for Social Democrats or for far right now, they can explain also values which these like political parties like move to campaign. So it's very important to like understand one more time what is your value. And if we talk here more with people who, you know, thinking about their own political reputation, it's also important to understand what is your values. So what you stand for. Is your like work about freedom or about justice or about transparency or about joy or about what, right? So what value? It's the main value for you as a person and for you as a politician. Even when you're thinking about yourself, it can be a little more easy than when you try to create the same answers to whole political party. But it can be also tough decision because you can be honest about yourself. So that's why usually you pay to somebody like political manager who choose who do with you deep interview and, you know, try to understand what is like your main values. So, Mr. Sheiko, do you want to add something about values or ask some questions? Oh, okay. So, and second point is that you must be authentic. So you can just look to focus groups and said, oh, all people like freedom. So that's why I will communicate basic value of freedom. So you can do that because if you before was pretty like tough, almost authoritarian leader of government corporation, you can say after that, oh, I'm person who always was for freedom, right? Or you can be post-Soviet Union leader who also said that, oh, you know, I'm all my life was stand for freedom if they was in communistic party. So something like that. And you must understand that these values, it must be not fake values, but really your core and core what you believe. And sometimes it's hard because sometimes politicians say that, oh, you know, I start my campaign, I have money, so that's why you can decide what values I must bring to the society. It's not right, right? And people feel that. So on elections, you know, even not as a professional here, but as a voter, you always feel that like honesty of one person or not honesty of this person. So it's important. And also your values not connect with short term or long term. Usually it's stable for short term and for long term. After that, after when you like start to build your reputation, you think about generally your archetype. Or people sometime said not so deep as archetype, but like more about your positioning. So here you can see some leaders of European Union, maybe only Macron familiar for you, but generally you can think about these people that they technocrats, or maybe some of them are reformists. I obviously put this picture here because in European Union, all politicians looks pretty standard, and it's a little different from I don't know, even local primary in some states here, like in New York, where some candidates looks very different. And sometimes it's hard to like just say that, oh, this guy is technocrat because he made a good reform in some country, or he creates I don't know, good strategy for Ghana in small business small business support program or something like that. Sometimes you need to go a little more deeper with understanding political archetypes. And for some people who already listen my lectures, they understand what is archetype. So for those who only today join to our program and to our lectures, I like now show to you basic understanding of archetypes. So generally, all issues in every communication work, even in corporate or in political management, or even in your communication with your spouse or your friend, it's archetype. So you have some model of behavior, and it's also model how other people understand you. So the most easiest way to understand archetype is to remember your favorite movie, because in movies you see some very clear archetype. So I don't know, my kids like Harry Potter movie. And in Harry Potter movie, you understand very clearly who is good guy, who is a hero, and who is bad guy, right? So, and it's clear archetype or clear archetype of wise old man, like advisor, or clear archetype of good manager, which was this like lady who was run this like magic school, right? In real life, it's not so easy to form clear archetype, because nobody can behave only in one model, because you can be like, you know, wise man on your work who give advices because you work on Pentagon like 20 years, but you can be in directly different archetype when you care about your grandchild, or when you, I don't know, even make some tough decision in emergency situation. But generally and I take this picture from article on PolitA about these elections. So here, as you see, it's some like their vision of how looks like voter who vote for Democrats and how looks like voter who vote for Republicans. And PolitA here also work with reputation of these political parties and try to visualize archetype not only of candidates but also of their voter. And if you will search this article, you can see they said that, oh, it's like city rebellion, or it's like little Trump. But in scientific world or world of professionals, we will say that, look, in like man's political archetype, it will be ruler. Trump is a ruler, or it can be like emotional ruler. It's more like Biden's leadership. Yeah, I see that mostly here it's like American audience, so maybe this example's like more um, understandable for you. And for Europeans, I can give to you like examples of women. It's like Aetna. Aetna, it's who is Aetna now? Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany, it's Aetna. Or in United States, Ivanka Trump tried to be Aetna, like vice woman as positioning. And also it can be rebellion. So rebellion, it's Artemis archetype, which more like understandable on example of ADF, Alternative for Germany for now, and lady who is the leader of Alternative for Germany. And also classical vice woman, it's and Aetna, it's of course Nancy Pelosi, and it's also Ursula von der Leyen. So one more time, if we talk about reputation, you can build your like archetype and your positioning without like understanding that it's a part of your reputation. So if you plan to do medical reform, or which was more understandable for Americans was Medicare, Medicaid, or Obamacare. It was a reform which give to much more people access to having medical insurance. For European audience, it's also more understandable as like government subsidy insurance, something like that. So if you have archetype and values for justice and equality, you of course will move after this your reputation to solutions which move these values and which move this archetype of caregiver, of emotional leader, of caregiver, or of mother. So as you see here, Hillary Clinton try also to be in the archetype of mother, but really her character, it's not only archetype of mother, it's also archetype of ruler, of Aetna. But here, like in her image, it's more archetype of mother. And in this situation and in this image, you can talk a lot about social justice, you can talk a lot about kids, about social programs for kids, and so on and so forth. And a lot of ladies in different countries also use this archetype, or they start with rebellion. For example, in Italy, it's very typical, and then moving Giorgia Meloni, I mean, and then they move to like more vice woman archetype. So I hope you understand how to connect that and some main issues and why some reputation is not stable and not like perceived by people, because your values, your archetype, and your like deeds, it's not correlate with each other. And after that, you of course communicate your agenda with your leaflets, with your social media, with your blogs, with your press releases, and generally also will give to you some examples. So Ocasio-Cortez, it's Democrat from New York, who not from United States, is better to Google. She one of the most youngest congresswomen, and she talked about a lot about like human rights, about union movements, and she's classical rebellion. So that's why, of course, she proposed to Congress like bills which correlate with her archetype, so which build her reputation as a person who very tough, who is a fighter, who fight for people who can't fight for themselves, who vulnerable. And that's why it's built for her very understandable reputation. The same like anti-example, it's Mr. Putin. So Mr. Putin also have classical ruler archetype. It's like pure ruler archetype. They generally have the same archetype, Trump and Putin. Putin also in his deeds, his decision, and his rhetoric have the same like archetype, so which build reputation for him. Of course, also his deeds, like person who invades, no, who put invasion to Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, Syria, other countries. He also built his reputation, right? Or reputation of Iron Lady. Also, it's a reputation. So you even can't understand when we talk about Margaret Thatcher, why she's Iron Lady, if you're not from Great Britain and if you, I don't know, from Slovenia, but you remember that it's like was tough person which moved country through tough reform, and that she behaved even on TV shows, which wasn't not so like broad as now, in this archetype. So I think you understand this point, right? And sometimes you come with some reputation before. Like here, I put some example of the richest politicians in United States. So here I put example of Democrat, right, Mr. Pritzker, and of Republican like Donald Trump, or Rick Scott. So it's pretty bipartisan. And as you understand, if such person came with their reputation of billionaire to political communication, they already have some reputation and some archetype. And in this situation, you can move this reputation to some like your direction. So you can move that, you know, I can make a deals and I will move economy forward in Trump communication. Or you can move also in Pritzker's communication that I and my family do a lot of also good deeds as a businessman and move it more to social responsibility of businessmen in Democratic campaign. So that's why, one more time, in big campaigning, you never pure in your start of building reputation. But if you just starting to, you know, like thinking about maybe taking part in local elections, or you want to be elected to school board, it's okay, because generally your reputation in media will be pretty clear. But also reputation, it's some issue which connect with your community. So you can have one reputation in your family, second reputation in your community, third reputation in your town, right? Third reputation in your business, and so on and so forth. So it's generally eternity of variance. And for sure, your opponents will also build your reputation, because they can put to media some fake news or even some point of views which will damage your reputation. And I can give example from like private sector, like when you remember a big reputational crisis of BP, or when you remember big crisis when GlaxoSmithKline give bribes to doctors in China. So sometimes like it's also happened like big crisis. And I also give here example like locker room conversation for Trump. Yeah, so here is Women's March. It was before or after last inauguration of Trump. One day before, one day after. I'm not fully remember. Yeah, and of course, scandal with Monica Lewinsky. So one more time, it's like examples of big scandals, but generally, if we talk about like, for example, Hillary Clinton campaign days after, it's not really connect with the scandal. And if we talk about GlaxoSmithKline now, not everybody really remember about this like bribing in China. So that's why anti-crisis work and like how to build your reputation after crisis or in the crisis, it's very tough work which needs very direct response, that people will see your position, that people will see independent position, but just to not react to that, it's not right strategy. And believe me, because we do a lot of anti-crisis work, and like just to be silent and not put on the table your position, it's not right strategy. Here also one example, like which you might be seeing nowadays, like this example of Tesla in White House. So, and this correlates also with reputation in social media. And maybe one of the best example of communication building reputation in social media was Barack Obama, of course. I can't really, so I take the statistics from Sam Rush, but really we can't compare like Mr. Modi and Mr. Trump, because generally, no, like it's much more voters in India, right? And very different type of campaigning in India. But worldwide, we can correlate. One more time, is it exist like fake social media followers? Of course, it exists. I mean, and it's completely different issue. Can it like make impact to your reputation or not? But one more time, let's move into the story about Tesla in White House. So generally, like Musk and Trump tried to move a little more interest to Tesla because they have problems with stocks. And we now not discuss is it right or isn't wrong, but generally Democrats also use this crisis of Tesla in their own communication. So they do very interesting viral videos about like how Trump tried to sell new Teslas like a salesman. And it was very funny, and it's really was used by Democrats in a really smart way, this crisis. Here are also more examples of political reputation management, like ADF, Alternative for Germany, far-right political party in Germany, very new, because in Germany, usually it was political parties who really exist from Second World War, from the end of Second World War. And Alternative for Germany and Sarah Wagner-Neft party, it's pretty new political party, and they have agenda that, oh, we must change everything, we must fight with migrants, and so on and so forth. But they really haven't like strong economy agenda, but they became very, very popular, even in Germany with their, sad history. So it's one more time reputation of this political party that they like ready to do something, so that they reformists, that they ready to action. And second example, it's example of Mr. Zelensky. So generally it's a photo of Zelensky TV show. He was comedian, and he generally creates as a TV show project about like wonderful president. So it was like comedian show, like film about a teacher who became a president, and then how he was a good president. And this reputation of like fake president from movie, it's something like House of Cards, but in like positive way, like comedy. You can find it on Netflix. And people believe that this reputation of like good governance, which is like story, connect with real person as Zelensky. And I saw a lot of like focus groups that people really correlate this like archetype from movie with real president. And generally it can look a little weird for like developed democracies. But generally, if you think about your models and role models, from where you understand what is good family, or what is like good partner, who is good partner, or what is like good governance, or what is like good political force, or whatever. Let's think where you take these stereotypes and archetypes. What is it? And yeah, and it's a very interesting model to think about. And we discussed with one rabbi a lot of like this issue, that like Jewish people take like these models and rules from Torah, from Jewish Bible. And some people, it was a discussion not about policy but about like family. And a lot of people like understand what is good family, who is good partner from movies. And that's why, but it's only movie, it's not real life. And that's why, one more time, when we talk about like how to create political reputation, you also must understand how people in your country understand good politician. That's why I put one more example of Mr. Berlusconi. So Mr. Berlusconi, on like position of a lot of journalists, was pretty corrupted. And he also always have like the most expensive suits and so on and so forth, but still people vote for him. Of course, it was some bribing and so on and so forth, but people in Italy accept this archetype. Yeah, and of course, we can't talk today about one more issue. It's issue of tools. So how to really create this reputation. And it's very different on what level you are now. So of course, our company mostly work with like big political forces or big politicians, or sometimes it's heads of big government structures. So, but I will start from a pretty standard toolkit if you like just at the beginning of your path to like big policy or to some office. So generally, after you understand your values, your archetype, your image, because you also must look the same as your archetype. Because if you said that, oh, I'm meritocrat and professional, and you will come, I don't know, in red evening dress to business meetings, it will look weird, right? And so sometimes in this like issue, you must also understand what your values, what your archetype, how person with this archetype must looks like, how this person must behave, what you want to communicate. And after that, you must start communication. So first of all, this communication must be in your blog, in your social media. After that, you can propose to local media some issues. For example, let's do project about local, I don't know, medical programs, or let's do articles about our local park, or about additional hearing of a local corridor on Main Street in your town. In big political campaign, it's a little different because you have a lot of data. Like here, I give to you example of some polling, like what's it's more important for voters of every party. Like important issue for Democrats was abortion, and important for Republican voters, no, not Republican, but Republicans who vote for Trump, was immigration. So that's why if you in big politics, you of course have like bigger budget to make all these pollings, like this type of polls, also focus groups, experts interview, a lot of data from internet, and so on and so forth. And then you can also communicate with press releases and with news. And here I just give to you a print screen of news about Trump. So in this in this type of work, you every day build your reputation. So every your press release, every your like social media post builds your reputation. And even no, for example, when we work with big clients, every our press release which we put from name of client for our company is more than 200 million potential audience. So as you can understand, it's like big influence. If you even start from free podcast or blogs, it's also makes sense to move the same message on every podcast or blog. And I think also on this example, I show to you like RNC and DNC, and I show how influencers work, because, for example, DNC invites more than 50,000 influencers to cooperate with them. Also here are some examples of journalists on RNC. So in the end, and as conclusion, we must understand like full chain of reputation from values till archetypes, uh, communication strategy terms, and also your understanding your close and your wide network. And also if you like represent some political force, non-profit, or if you think about like your political career, we will be happy to work with you as SIC Group. And from Institute for Democracy and Development, we also have tons of interest in education, information, and lectures. So feel free to explore SIC Group YouTube, my social media, Kateryna Odarchenko, and also on our government relations site. We will be happy to see you March 27 here in Washington, D.C., one block away from here. I'm now downtown on our International Government Relations Forum. And I think you in contact with our office, and you get email from our office to this lecture. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. Yeah, so please write these questions, or put or you can also like give some feedback or ask this question by raising hand, or just unmute yourself. And one more issue, I also have a book which called Game of Elections. And we create this book directly for developing democracies in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. So before we only sell this book in paper in those regions, but I think we also will share our electronic PDF book for people who need that, because we really encourage people to study more knowledge and to start campaigning for local councils, for non-profits who communicate with local councils and so on and so forth, because it's really important for Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, Lithuania to have the skills and to create something different. Yeah, very transparent, very effective political parties, political movements. Even in business, like associations who do government relations and so on and so forth. So if it's any question, you can ask now. If there is no question, please add me on social media and have a good day. Any questions? Okay, we today have a little shy audience. So you also can ask questions in private on our next lectures. And if you have also proposals, what issues you're interested in, send to our office and we will try to prepare these lectures for you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this topic.
Thank you. Thank you, Ifeoma. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Shalini. Thank you, guys. See you next time. Thank you.
See you next time. Thanks.